What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the meth review area. And the subject of today's video is this knife, the Cold Steel Code 4. And before I get into any of my thoughts, I want to go ahead and take care of all you knife nerds out there that like to know the specs of everything. So there you go. Blade length, 3.5 inches. Overall length, 8.5 inches. CTS XHP steel, 4.3 ounces. 3.5 millimeter blade thickness at the spine. 5-inch handle, and the handle is made of 6061 aluminum scales. There you go, knife nerds that like specs. Let's get into some of my thoughts. The knife opens with thumb studs. Everybody loves thumb studs, they're classic. And it's a large blade that swings open quite easily. Comes out nicely because of what I believe are bronze washings on the inside of the knife, and it locks open with a nice solid click, just like that. Now, even though it opens smoothly, it definitely isn't a gravity flipper, or at least it's not easy to do, and it's kind of disappointing because if you have average size hands, you might have difficulty opening it with one hand. I have large hands, and my thumb is kind of right in line with the thumb stud. Yours might not be if you have, I don't know, smaller hands. Just, your mileage may vary. I find it quite easy to open, but you might not. Again, not the easiest one to flick open. The best way I've found to do it is to hold it like this and flip it open, but I don't want to bang up my table. So there you go. As for the cutting edge, the blade steel is held up very, very well, and has cut through most of my EDC tasks, actually every single one. It's never failed to cut through something. It's turned out very well. I have no edge rolling in the past, 11, almost 12 months, and I have never sharpened it, ever. Not even a honing, nothing. You guys might say that's because I don't use my knives. I say you're wrong, I use them all the time. I don't have to chop down trees with my knife, and I imagine many of you don't either. If you do chop down trees with your knife, please go find someone else's channel and see what they have to say about it. But like I said, I haven't sawed down any trees with it. This thing was extremely sharp when it came out of this box, and my model is obviously the clip point blade, which is really made for cutting, slicing, not necessarily for piercing, but it has done very well with piercing boxes into tape, which I would expect any knife would do well with, but then also into the occasional can with little shotgunning. Do I have any complaints about this knife? No, I don't. That being said, I don't think this knife is for everyone, especially those who like to carry their knife with some level of discretion, because the pocket clip leaves a lot to be desired. Once you have the knife out of the pocket, people will fear your blade. Look at that thing, it's kind of scary. Like, ooh, ha, he, ha, ha. More for slicing than for stabbing, but still, people who aren't familiar with blades might find it intimidating in appearance. Especially for those who don't carry knives or aren't expecting you to just go ahead and whip one out and slicing up your apple. Like I said, I think this blade is very good, but I don't think it's for business professionals at work. This is more of a nice camping knife backup, I would say. Defensive blade option if you're one of those crazy tactical people. I am not one of those crazy tactical people, and I never want to have to stab somebody to death in order to save my own life. It sounds like it's really messy, and this won't hold up very well because there's like no traction on this knife. You have really good traction with the finger grooves, but if you had, I guess, blood or lots of amounts of sweat on your hand, this thing would be slipping and sliding because there is no traction. So do I think it'd be a really good camp knife backup? Absolutely. Do I think it handles everyday carry tasks like a champ, like cutting through cardboard and things? Absolutely. Do I think that the Tanto version might be a better tactical backup? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tanto is always better for stabbing, but at the same time, I think the lack of traction really limits you with that. But I could definitely see this would be a great knife just to have in your car in an emergency situation. Or if you're like me, you carry multiple knives, this is just a cool one to have on you at all times. The one thing I will say about this knife is that so many people, you hand it to somebody, cannot unlock it. Like, I don't think it's hard at all. You just let it fall, bang, right? But some people I see, they're like, pressing, they can't get this button down. If you consider yourself to have weak hands, it's not for you. But I don't think it's that hard. For extra safety measure, just push, pops right open. Boom, easy. I swear this handle is gray, but on everybody's camera that I have seen online, it does indeed look a little bronzish. Maybe it's just my screen, but it does look bronze. Again, blade steel has held up really well, and it has reversible thumb stud, as well as pocket clip can be carried on this side and this side, and it actually comes with a different pocket clip in the box. There's one in there right now, so that it would match the curving here rather than here, which is a nice extra touch from Cold Steel. Overall, I think it's a great knife. Maybe I can give you a shot of what it looks like in the pocket here, but even if I can't, I highly recommend that if you have some extra money to spend, go ahead and get it. And I think Cold Steel is going to run some of these in S35 VN or S30 VN steel or something like that, because that's what they're trying to upgrade almost all their knives to while trying to keep it affordable. Although I find that the CTS XHP steel is a lot stronger than even CPM 154 in my opinion, so you might like that very much. And that wraps up today's video with the Cold Steel Code 4. No more assistance needed. This knife is super rad. Highly recommend you go out and try to pick one up if it's in your budget. Go ahead, check it out, guys. Thanks.